my customers some years ago said that Christmas was simply for the children. I'm starting to wonder whether she was right or wrong. Starting with the ideas of the folklore that's built up around Christmas, the traditions and so forth, such as Father Christmas, Santa Claus, or whatever you call him, his army of elves making toys and such for all the good children, and even the Germanic version known as Krampus on Krampusnacht. You start to get the idea that maybe it is for the children. However, these are family traditions perpetuated over time along with folklore, so you start to wonder whether that is even relevant anymore. It is worthwhile considering, though, that some of these things are based purely on family, and certainly in our family, family has been a central part of the Christmas celebrations, with my father being away at work multiple times. We would often wait for a few days until he's able to get time off, and then when my brothers went to university, wait until they're able to get back for Christmas, and then have Christmas Day completely separate. But that's the celebration of Christmas, the actual family time, the presents and so forth. What about Christmas Day itself, the birth of Christ? Is that even an important thing? Is that purely for the children? I remember enjoying the version of the Nativity story called Away in a Manger by Sarah Hayes, and it contained a lot of musical numbers, including all the various carols that helped us learn all the Christmas carols that we'd need over the coming years. Add that to me learning to drink alcohol when I was in Australia, you can understand why Christmas has remained a very important time. So is the celebration of Christmas something that happens? Well, many people would say that regardless of the culture, a celebration happens at Christmas time, or at least around the middle of winter. Many people say it's time for the new year, but that would backfire greatly in a number of different cultures. For example, in Jewish culture, because their new year wasn't at Yuletide. Their new year was nearer the beginning of winter itself, in October, closer to the Celtic festival of Samhain, now Halloween. Rosh Hashanah is not the Jewish equivalent of Christmas. No. The nearest thing to Christmas, to Jewish tradition, is Hanukkah, which is earlier. This is consistent throughout all other cultures, since the Gregorian calendar, or the later Rome, or even the Julian calendar at the time, would have celebrated New Year on January the 1st. Many others had different celebrations. For example, the Lunar New Year would have been such as the Chinese calendar was from January maybe into March. The Jewish Rosh Hashanah, as mentioned, that was September and October. The Islamic calendar, that's also a lunar-based calendar, but started when Muhammad did his pilgrimage, or his march, where it was. The Persian calendar, that starts in March. The Hindu festival, Diwali, that's in November, October. Songkran is in April. And even the Maori calendar is celebrated in June/July. It varies drastically from around the time of year, so it is nothing consistent. Saying that it would be consistent purely based on geography is rather ridiculous, and had nothing to do with the with either the Jewish or even the Roman calendar having anything linked with the New Year's celebration. You bear in mind that the Roman celebration Saturnalia celebrates Saturn, but the first month in their calendar is January, celebrating Janus, the two-faced god. We have an interesting situation. So let's start looking back. What are the celebrations for? Are the celebrations truly for the children? They'll be spread across all other well-known Christian celebrations, particularly Easter, but that's more down to commercialism rather than anything else. You could say commercialism is why we end up with things like Father Christmas, and particularly all the presents. Those are very much the presents, very much the things that the children will remember. But for me and my brothers, when we were little boys, we would remember getting up early during Advent, going to the Advent calendar and opening each door. This is before we got Advent calendars with chocolate in them. And then on Christmas Eve, we would go to the Christingle service, where it was the Christingle orange, lots of sweets on it, a candle, with a little red ribbon around it. We'd all sing the hymns, all sing the carols, and then we'd go home, squeeze out the oranges for Father Christmas, and then go to bed, awaiting the presents in the morning. So the presents are very much a thing. But these days, the giving of gifts is not something we really consider. Especially when we focus on things that are more practical. For example, the side sleeper for my daughter. Jumpers for the children. And quite recently I started making things in the forge. For example, boot scrapers, fire pokers, and maybe this year, get round to it, letter openers. But does that mean that Christmas is purely about the commercial side now? Or is there still an aspect of the child there? I would say that the childlike aspect is more linked to the wonder of Christmas itself. That Jesus was the greatest gift sent to earth for us. Many people might say it's a load of hokum, a load of humbug, if you will. But does that mean that we should ignore it? I would say those people are trying to make a very serious situation out of something that should be fun, something joyful. You could say it's those people that are trying to grow up way too quickly. You may say that religion is very much a childish thing, but Neil deGrasse Tyson said that a scientist is basically a kid that doesn't grow up. They're still curious, they're still wondering about the world. And it's that wonder that keeps them going into the adult scientists. Does that mean that if we keep the childlike aspect of Christmas, we're all becoming scientists? I would say the moment we start attributing the negative aspects to childhood, you start losing the wonder. When it comes to alcohol, some people might just celebrate by a lot of drinking. That's done often closer to New Year. However, I would say that is a similar thing, only they're bringing their life back to a certain point in their youth where they can drink, where staying up until midnight was a joy, a rare privilege, and not something you do pure out of habit or something that happens because you work until midnight. I've had that multiple times these days. Working until midnight, or up until midnight, is no longer a joyous thing these days. at any point in the celebration, we can very much be considered dragging things back to our youth. Just knowing where to draw the line is the big debate here, I think. Many people look down on the childlike wonder of Christians at the gift of Christ, at what we have. But I would say there's that childlike wonder that makes us the true Christians, that makes us understand the gift better. So do not let anyone knock down the childlike wonder of being a Christian on Christmas Day. I remember one year at a Christian service I was serving at, we had way more Christian oranges than there were children coming up. And so the Reverend Jenny Fennell said, "We are all children in the eyes of God. So come up, adults, and take your Christingles and join us at the altar to sing the hymns and carols." So don't let anyone spoil this magical time. Don't let anyone ruin the wonder just because they don't want childlike attributes of wonder, amazement, and curiosity to remain in people. Stay humble. Stay safe. God bless. And a very Merry Christmas to you.